Hi, it's me, Leanne Schmidt with artkids.com, leanneschmidt.com, and if you're local in Pittsburgh, charcuteriescreative.com. Today, we are doing these super cool charcuterie trays. I love these. So they look like this. They have a really cute handle here. Same thing on both sides. And it's wood, it's lightweight, and it just looks like a lot of fun to paint. So I have already painted one side, and I have since taped it up so it looks like this on the other side, but I'm doing another one, so I did them both. So this is just plain painter's tape. I don't have any illusions that this is going to completely keep the paint off the sides. I just don't want it to drip underneath, because when it's all done, I think I'm going to come in and just paint this side. I'm just going to paint it a solid color. And same thing in here, you know, like on the interior, I'm going to paint that too. So with that in mind, I have already prepped my colors. These are the exact same colors. These are derived from the same colors that you have in your kit. Like this one here is a combination of red and blue. In fact, here, let me look at your color matrix with you, and I'll tell you how you can get these colors. Okay, so this is more of a red-violet. It's a little bit more on the violet side, but it's really pretty, and it also has it has red, blue, and a touch of white. The colors tend to dry a little bit darker than what you see, you know, as a wet color. So if you want something that's going to be kind of like, I wanted something that was going to be kind of rich. I wanted to get nice deep colors, but I didn't want them to be too deep, and I wanted to go more of a sunset. Since the other side is more of like blues and greens, I wanted to go completely opposite with this one. And then this color here is actually a combination of mostly red with a touch of yellow, and it makes this really pretty kind of like a rose pink. It's really, really pretty. And there's no white in here. This is just mostly red with a touch of yellow. And this one here is kind of like a sunset sort of burnt orange. And it has, it is mostly yellow with a touch of red. And then this one here is, well, this one here has obviously a little more of a touch of red than this one. This one here just has like a smidge of red, and it's the same bright yellow. I just wanted to tone it down a little bit. And I'm not sure, but I think I probably will be using the same yellow that you have in your kit. This is the bottle that your kit comes from. I mean, it goes through a bigger vat that I make, and then I drop it down to a smaller bottle, and then I fill the bottles. And then I cap the bottles, then I label the bottles. Then I wrap the bottles, then I send them to you. This is the white. Same process. I mix all my own paints. Now, these paints here all have silicone in them. From the same vial that you have. I use the same dropper. Not sure where I put the vial at. Your kit has, you know, more than enough silicone. I mean, silicone just goes so far in these paintings. You really just need a few drops. So anyway, all of these paints already have it. It's already been mixed in. And when you put your silicone in, you want to keep in mind, I'm not recording. Hi, it's me, Leanne Schmidt from artkids.com, leanneschmidt.com, and if you're local in Pittsburgh, charcuteriescreative.com. Today we are doing the charcuterie tray, and it comes in your kit wrapped in plastic mostly, and It's just a wood tray. It's lightweight. It's a wonderful piece to paint, and you'll be able to use it later. So it's nice, and it has two sides, so you can actually paint both sides. You just need to wait for the first side to fully dry. Now I've already done that, and what I should have showed you the first side first, but I didn't. But it is now wrapped in painter's tape, and I don't have any real illusions about this. I don't expect the painter's tape to completely keep everything off the sides, but I do expect it to keep it off of the flat part here. So with that said, I mean, it seems like it's coming up a little bit, which is bothering me. Anyway, so I've already prepped the tray and so with the tape, and I've also already mixed up the colors. And just to give you an idea of how of what I did with the colors, this side is, you know, the theme of this side is kind of a red sunset kind of theme, you know, kind of like late summer, early fall, rich, pretty colors. So I'll go through these colors with you. I use the exact same colors that are in your kit. I used the color matrix that I gave to you all. And this color here is like a rich, really pretty golden yellow. And it is mostly yellow with a smidge, and it's the bright yellow that's in your kit with a smidge of red. Just a little bit goes a long way. So just put a little bit in here, mix it up, and you know, if this is the color you want, this is how you get it. Now this one here is probably like 7/8 yellow, and you know, maybe that last part like a smidge more than the red that's in here. It really, the red is very powerful, and so I recommend always starting with your lightest color first and going darker. Don't go the other way. You end up wasting a bunch of paint and hardly ever get to the color you want. Always better to start lighter and go darker. Now, this one here has the exact same colors, yellow and red, but it has mostly red with a smidge of yellow. So it's probably the, you know, this is probably more like 7/8 red, and you know, that last bit being yellow. A little bit actually goes a long way, and it really turns this red from like a bright, vivid red to more of like a rose, like a pink rose red. And then this last color is this beautiful like red, it's like a red violet, and it has mostly, let me see, this is about 3/4 red to 1/4 blue with about, I'm going to say maybe 1/8 of white. Not a whole lot of white, but when you're mixing up this color, you're first, like when you do the red and the blue, you're going to get a very rich, very deep color. And what I wanted to do was get away from it being too dark, because when they dry, they do tend to darken up. So I wanted it to be, I probably wanted it to be that color when it's dry, so I added a little bit of white just to tone it down a little bit. These other colors, I'm perfectly fine with them darkening up a little bit, so I'm good with where they're at now, and plus they're just very pretty. So this is going to have more of a sunset kind of feel to it with a touch of, you know, this purple. Kind of like when the sky, when the blue sky meets the red sun. So anyway, so these are our colors, and I'm going to set these over here for just a minute. And I've already elevated my canvas, or my charcuterie board. I just used cups. You can use any cups. In this kit, I usually include, like if you have canvas, I'll usually include thumbtacks, but you can't really do that with this. So it's better to elevate it using something. And if you don't have, like, you know, enough cups or whatever, you know, be creative and use something else. You can use books. You know, like you can put them in Ziploc bags and use books so that you don't mess them up. Whatever, you know, whatever works for you. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is just sort of try to tighten this down a little bit with this tape. I know it's not perfect, but like I said, I'm not really worried about that too much. I really just don't want to end up covering the bottom, and I'll clean the sides up later. So the first thing I'm going to do is just come in and lay down a base coat of white. I don't need a lot of white. I just want a little bit. I just want to make it slick enough for the paint to slide. And you can just do this with your hands. It's kind of relaxing, actually. And when you're doing this, when you're adding this layer of paint, it doesn't have to be white, but white is actually the heaviest paint, so it tends to sink to the bottom anyway. So I just wanted to get a nice even coat on here so that it'll flow across my canvas just the way I want it to. Not worried if it's perfect. I'm not even really worried if it's too terribly level. It doesn't matter, it'll pretty much level itself out. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. And now comes the fun part. Well, actually all of this is fun. I think maybe one of my most favorite parts of doing paint pouring is mixing colors. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just a smidge, and let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I am actually going to start with a little bit of white in the base of my cup. Not a lot, just a little bit. And that is my cat. His name is Jimmy Page. He thinks he's a singer. Maybe he thinks he's Robert Plant. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to go dark to light. Now you can lay these colors in however you want. You can go in from the side. You can sort of pour from the top and have it go into, sort of penetrate into the middle, which is kind of cool. Now this, you know, canvas, it's, I forget the exact size, but it takes about 4.5 to 5 ounces of paint. Now we laid a little bit down already, so it might not take the whole amount. I'm going to add a little bit more white in here. Basically just to give it some contrast between the purple and the yellow. so that is all the paint I'm going to use in this. Okay, good. And here's the bottom of the cup. We already have some nice cell formations going on. I'm going to give this just a few seconds to sort of stretch itself out a little bit. These colors are fantastic. Okay, so and see, putting that white paint down allows this to glide really nicely across the surface here. It is tempting to go fast, but you don't have to. There's no big race to the finish. You just want to make sure you do finish. Oh my God, these colors are so pretty. Now I know that it's going to probably come into this hole. I'm expecting it to, and I'm okay with that. but I don't want to lose the center. Okay, so overall I'm pretty happy with it, but I don't really like this piece here. So I'm just going to kind of cover that up.